In the meantime, we want to bring in CTV News political commentator Scott Reid with more. Hello there, Scott. So do you think that there's going to be a trade deal by this Friday? Do you see that being extended? What are your thoughts?
There doesn't feel like there's much momentum. I mean, obviously, we saw President Trump is in Europe. He secured the deal with the EU. He's had some deals with Asia. He himself said it's simply not his priority at this time. He wants to focus on those jurisdictions. He has leverage in terms of the talks with Canada because he is securing deals with others, insofar as he doesn't need a deal with us, his largest trading partner, because he is securing large scale trading deals. So I wouldn't bet an American or a Canadian dollar that we will see a cold, hard deal that suits our interests by August 1st. No, I wouldn't.
And will there be a penalty or a price to pay for that, do you think, Scott?
I mean, we have to hope that the response of the White House will be, we continue to talk and we'll allow things to be kicked down the road a little while longer, and that would avoid perhaps an increase in some of the tariffs that he's threatened to raise. That would be our hope. And, you know, the fear is that he will say, no, August 1st is here, so we're going to raise those duties. My hope and my belief is he'll probably, if the White House wants to maintain talks, then they'll maintain the status quo. But it's very difficult to predict what Donald Trump is going to do. And he may decide that it's in his interest, even if negotiations are continuing on, to jack those tariffs, because it will make us feel the pain all the more, and therefore all the more eager to take a deal of his liking.
Let's talk about the framework trade deal that was reached between the U.S. and the EU yesterday. Judging just by the optics alone, Trump looked happier than van der Leyen in sitting there at Turnberry. Emmanuel Macron has said that the deal is a dark day for Europe. What do you make of the criticism of the deal, and what does it tell us about negotiations, perhaps, with Canada?
Look, we're looking at our future. Right? Now, we don't know if the exact numbers will be the same that Canada will get, but we're looking at our future insofar as we are witnessing in Europe a deal that is not good for Europe, but is the best deal available and no question superior to what the alternative would have been if they'd not had a deal, because Trump would have made Europe pay and pay through the nose. So this is the challenge that partners are facing. This is the challenge that we are facing. I don't believe there is going to be a great deal to be had on the table. So 15% across the board tariffs. Why does Trump want that? He wants the revenue that he can secure from these tariffs. He wants that duties. That's what I believe this is all about. There are two elements to this deal, fundamentally, and most of these deals. Buy a bunch of stuff from America and tariffs across the board, 15, 20, 18%, 19% in one case, and that's so that he can get a steady stream of revenue that he thinks will allow him to say to people in America, see, I'm getting some scratch back for America. We can use this to lower income taxes, to pay for that great big beautiful bill, as he calls it. And I think that that's probably the kind of deal he's going to ask Canada to take, and we may have to do so.
So we're waiting for Prime Minister Mark Carney to make an announcement any moment now in Prince Edward Island. No doubt he's going to be asked about this. How do you expect the Prime Minister to respond to questions from reporters today with that August 1st deadline looming?
I think you can expect what you heard from him last week, maybe even more intense. I think he's going to try to diminish people's expectations of some breakthrough, wonderful deal for Canada coming on Friday. I think you'll likely hear him reinforce that, you know, we're at the table, we're working hard, we won't take a crummy deal, and we will protect Canadian interests no matter what we do. Yeah, those are the lines that he's stuck to. I expect he'll continue to stick to them. And if there's any change, it will likely be to even further underscore that the likelihood of an outstanding deal is very low, and not to get our expectations too high. That seems to be the job that he is undertaking these days, one of expectations management for a country that's looking at that August 1st deadline with wide eyes.